How to build a B2B sales system that scales without chaos. Most B2B founders make a fatal mistake of treating revenue like a hiring problem instead of system problem. They throw high salaried reps at a broken pipeline, burn hundreds of thousands of dollars of wasted leads, and trap themselves in daily operational chaos. Now, you have leads, lots of notifications and opportunities coming to your HubSpot. Of course, you use AI, but you feel overwhelmed. Leads are coming from forms, events, referrals, marketing activities, but they are not treated differently. And customer and prospects info is incompleted. Sales activities are happening, yes, but next steps are unclear. In this video, I'm going to show you exact three-part B2B sales system that builds predictable automated revenue without you having to micromanage every single deal. We aren't talking theoretical advice here. My team and I build and deploy these exact revenue engines inside the client business every day, taking them from chaotic plateau to predictable ARR. With that being said, let's get straight into the video. Step 1, data. Data is a first step to scale your revenue. If you don't understand your data, you won't be able to scale, as simply as that. Now, what is the data? Data is your contact, it's your company details, it's your transaction stages, everything that is actually required to close the sales. As an example, contact record got own first name, last name, email address, but also industry. What was the career path of that individual? When last time they clicked the email marketing message, and so on. When it comes to companies, you can dive deep into the company record. How many people do they employ? What is the structure between people within that business if you use ABM technique? All of this information is the data. One of the challenges within B2B sales is that conversation is lacking one single unified space to reflect on what is going on between the organizations. Because let's be honest, you might find a sales rep who is on holiday and a big projects coming up, someone is actually making a call or filling the form. That is the signal that you cannot miss. So if you have a scattered information, inconsistent follow-up, and unclear ownership of data, this one is definitely for you. Invest in data, make sure that all forms, referrals, direct outreach, networking events, whatever activities you are working on are going into one place. This place is typically called CRM, Customer Relationship Management System, where you can reflect on where is the data, what data quality do you need, and then reflect back what data is required to make your B2B system scalable. Now, one caveat is obviously AI. AI is helping to accelerate data quickly. You will be able to use different enrichment tools such as Apollo. The moment the business email address is ending up in your database, then obviously you are able to get quite a lot of information at the very beginning of that journey, but also reflect back on what actually data was in your successful companies that you actually closed. What data points have you used? What is the minimum data that is required for you to move that strategy of sales system forward? Before we move on to step number 2, a quick reminder: if you want practical, no-fluff RevOps and real HubSpot strategies delivered inside to your inbox, sign up to our weekly newsletter at hubspot.automate.now.uk/newsletter. The link is in the description. If you appreciate this direct, commercially grounded approach to making HubSpot actually work for your business, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Step number 2, a process. Quite often we call it process to disqualify. I am a big fan of a disqualification process to take place as soon as possible. So now we are living in a world of plenty of opportunities. We can find leads on a tab by actually asking even your AI of your choice. And you have plenty of companies who potentially would like to buy from you. So the leads is not a problem. What is the problem is the time where you invest your time and efforts. So follow the process from lead to deal up to the successful transaction. But before you even open the lead in your system or qualify them as a lead, ask yourself the question: are they ready for the next step? Or this is just me thinking they are ready? So qualification is important in that process. Qualification and segmentation. Explain that not every contact should follow the same path. And as mentioned, use enrichment tools to help you get that segments done. So how to create a segment, how to create a process around that. Look for the context. How many touch points do they have in the past? Email marketing, emails opened. How many actually of our team try to outreach them? Did you try to call them? Did they respond to any messages? Look for a company, source record, initial source record, why they actually ended in our database. Look at the life cycle stage. Maybe in the past, someone in your team tried to sell something unsuccessfully. Try to look at the engagement level. How many emails, messages did they receive? Did they actually open any message? Did they call you? For complex sales, you might want to actually look at the buyer groups more in a complex sales. So buyer groups are a place where you can look at the level of engagement between different shareholders of the business. So typically you have a head of sales, head of marketing, head of customer relationship, and then maybe you influence different people like head of tech or any other people who then help you to get there. Are they in your system? Are they in your database? Are these people there? Try to ask that question. Make sure that everyone is matched in the system before doing an outreach. Now, when it comes to sales, before you start qualifying the lead, ask yourself the question about what stages do they need to go through from their own perspective. So quite naturally look for something like a meeting booked or discovery call made, or maybe some kind of conversations around the project or contract. But look from the pre-sales perspective, okay? So something like, did they engage with you with the emails? What is their problem? What are the signals? Look for the signals from the pre-sales perspective before you dive deep into the sales pipeline. Two distinctions. The pre-sales should qualify whether a lead is ready for a sales conversation, and the sales stages are revenue stages. We now, from the sales perspective, this is a crucial, as we need to know the number. We need to know the amount of the sales eventually and the time when you win the business or lost. So look for something like when the contact became an opportunity, how long would that take, that journey to take place? Good CRM systems will tell you straight away that time between when you started conversation and they became the opportunity. When the handoff happened, maybe they attended some of the webinar events, maybe you met them at the event. The context is very much important. And then what customer actually means operationally. So is it the moment when they sign the contract? Is it the moment when you complete the first project? This requires alignment inside your team. So process is the second stage of the B2B sales system. Step number 3, automation. Everyone would like to sell on tap. Everyone would like to have leads, then deals, transactions, and then revenue that are on tap. And automation is a crucial part of this process. Now, in this step, in your business, we assume that your data is there, you're happy with that data, you've got a process to disqualify the leads. Now you can automate. You can create steps towards financial freedom of your business. How to get this started? So, well, number 1, think about a journey. What journey your leads are coming through. So, for example, in our own agency, we have about 6 to 12 months time of nurturing in order to make a sale. If you recognize the fact that prospect or prospects, they have own human history, they've got a problem with budget approval, and they've got personal circumstances, holidays, that process can take a long time. So please try to follow up in the right moment with the prospect who are in your process. What are the example of follow-ups in automation? So number 1, you can assign the ownership of the lead or deal or any kind of contact that is coming to your HubSpot based on your location, based on your expertise. The great idea is maybe one person can decide who will own different conversations. This is very important part. Automate that part. Create the follow-up. The moment someone actually booked the meeting with you, why don't you just display the thank you message and then send maybe 1 or 2 messages before that meeting happened? So then they will get a little bit more insights into it, but most importantly, you can judge whether they actually watch or click any content. You can find any signals. Trigger reminders after the meeting. So after the meeting, you can trigger a reminder to send them follow-up message. What's more, now with AI, you can be more clever and send that message directly to them with action points. Remember, any AI content needs to be reviewed before send out. Then send regular nurtured email depending on different stages of your relationship. If it takes more than 3 months for you to close the deals, recognize the fact that after 3 months, maybe you would like to have polite message. That can be fully automated by saying, hey, Mr. Customer, are you still there with us? We had a great conversation about your project, but I couldn't have any information from you. Is it worth reconnecting? Something like that will help you to save quite a lot of time of thinking about the process. Alerts. Think about what alerts would you like to have in your system. Something like someone visited the page, downloaded the resources, or maybe just booked meeting with your customer success team. You would like to have this information, and that is a great way of doing it. Now, another example of you looking at what you can automate, think about what could be a trigger for your automation. So when would you like to have notification or email sent to the customer? You can do plenty of different automations in your CRM, but before you go for automation, make sure that you have a process and data ready. If you're a B2B founder and you want me to build a scalable sales system directly inside your business, go to the link in the description to book a call with me today. Once you book that call, you should watch my next video on how to improve your B2B sales process, where I go behind the scenes and show you the exact software stack and workflow built out on my screen. Click the video on screen right now to watch it and start optimizing your pipeline today.